Previously, when I started in the business and grew up in the business, we've been able to take our audiences for granted. We've been able to broadcast and publicize our point of views, our clients' point of views quite easily. We had a guaranteed audience. We cannot take the audience for granted anymore. We've got to earn the right, we've got to avoid ad blocking, we've got to avoid the distractions of choice that we never had, and we've got to earn that audience. And in fact, even the words audience, target audience, our audience, our customers, speaks of a kind of world where we've learned to take too many things for granted, and I think that's the big change. That's the big change that I've seen. Media planning was how much TV could you afford, and in the last 5 to 10 years it's changed beyond all recognition, and I think it's become a story less about media planning and channel planning, because that's really what we meant, and what audiences are more or less likely on the margins to consume various types of mass media, and it's become a very different thing. And it sounds like a little bit of a cliche, but I think we are moving to media planning to content distribution, media planning to sharing of stories, and I think that requires much less emphasis on channels and much more of an emphasis on how do you promote sharing, how do you make your stories more attractive. And I think it's that difference between the age we've left behind, which is about targeting, and the age we're moving into, which is about attraction, that is probably the single biggest dynamic, because actually it's a 180-degree different dynamic. So I think at the moment it helps to be something of a polymath. There is almost too much we need to know. Our business is full of experts and needs to be full of specialist experts as the scope and scale of what we do broadens, from content to technology, managing data, statistics, modeling, all the way through to our digital services, and of course we still have the age-old skills of being able to listen to clients. Conversations with clients are always about value delivery. The nature of that value delivery changes and has changed significantly. The value we deliver is less about not paying too much for your media and more about the value return on building brands and the value return on growing companies' revenue. And not just in the short term, but in the longer term too. And I think that's always the nature of the problems and the challenges, and therefore the conversations. And also historically, I think there has tended to be a focus on maybe the short term, what we used to call the short term versus the long term, short term sales versus longer term health and brand building. You can't have an either or conversation anymore. It has to be and. You have to win in the today, and you have to be winning for tomorrow as well. You have to do both at the same time. And I think that's something that's become absolutely clear in the last few years actually, is it's not about or, it's about and. And I think the way we do that, and the way we are trying to do it more, certainly within OMD, is to productize what we do a little bit more, is to take what we do and work out a way of how do we systemize it? How do we make sure that we can deliver a more consistent problem-solving product with sharper insights, smarter ideas, stronger results, every client, every brief, every time. And that's about productizing what we do, a standard way of delivering that, a standard way of quality controlling the output from our teams, and we're exploring platform-led ways of working, platform ways of integrating our entire global team together in order to do that. And I think that's quite new and different, and a much better way of problem solving going forward. But I think for me, the thing I always enjoy most is catching up with colleagues. Catching up with colleagues, friends, people we haven't seen for a while. Of course there's a lot of important client meetings, of course there's a lot of partner meetings, and there's some really great conversations that you can have here, because it's one of the few times in the year when everyone is in the same place. It sounds like a very self-serving justification for everyone being here, but you can get an enormous amount done in a relatively short period of time because everyone is here.